Welcome to Ragewell episode 77. This is the Geek episode with special guest Ben Connolly. We discuss Taskmaster, the live experience we both went to, also sci-fi movies, and of course, the daddy of all, Star Wars. Welcome to episode 77. Me, James, and Drew again, and we have a guest with us this time.
Kate's mum.
It's not Kate's mum.
Oh.
But hi, Kate's mum.
She's the next Emmanuel Bonamy, by the way.
Thank you for cooking for me for many years, Kate's mum.
Cooking.
Nice.
Not Emmanuel Bonamy. Right, I'm
What was
going to
Kate's
let him
mum's
in.
best dish? What was Kate's mum's best dish?
Probably
You know what?
used a Dutch oven for Kev.
Shut up. This sounds offensive, but I don't mean it to be. But you know you're hanging out with a middle-class family when you get a chippy and they have a plate warmer in their oven to put the chips on. I'm like, what is this?
Come on. That is awesome.
But anyway, Ben is about to arrive in 2 seconds. Here he comes. Here is Ben. Welcome.
Hey!
He looks weird.
What's it like on the dark side?
You tried to say Death Star, but you forgot, didn't you?
No, I thought dark side was the one, isn't it? Join the dark side.
You're the good guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you almost sound like one of the stormtroopers as well. Has it got like a special built-in? I'm just thinking for people that
You
is
got
so
a voice
cool.
thing.
Yeah, I was going to say for people that aren't watching the video stuff, the audio, they would like to know what's going on. So
Move along.
So Ben, that's Drew that's talking, and there's James with the miserable face and the cap on,
And that's
Hey,
what I
dude.
look like underneath.
and there's Ben.
Slightly loud.
ladies and gentlemen, Ben just removed a stormtrooper hat off his head.
And Kev got a semi.
I may have got a semi. So
Kev's trousers just got shorter.
I'll introduce you to Ben first, and then we'll say what we did at the weekend, and we'll crack on with movie chat. But me and Ben have known each other for almost 15 years now.
Guys.
Started working together in London, and the running joke with me and Ben is that I always feel like he's a massive child because I met him when I was
like hang out with children.
I was like 27, 28, and he was like 19 or something, 19 or 20 or something.
Oh, Kev, you get into dangerous territory here.
So he always seems like a child to me, and he's like a manager. He's like a boss man, but he's always comes across as a goofy child who likes Star Trek until you see him be a boss, and you're like, oh, you're quite harsh. You're quite a ruler, but I don't
He's
see
kind of
that.
making him sound like a dominatrix, Kev, and you two have a safe word.
Step into my dungeon.
Tell me off and send me to the corner.
That's not a stormtrooper helmet, that's a gimp mask.
Just painted appropriately white.
Nice. Oh gosh.
But yeah, so how are you, Ben? You good?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's Monday, I think. But just to provide some context for that, it's actually part of a whole outfit. It's not just the helmet. So I do.
But wait, you're holding back, dude. Come on.
I can't. It takes about half an hour to put the whole
Ben
thing
is
on.
not.
Oh, fair enough.
But
Yeah,
it's,
Ben is not just a helmet.
Oh, thanks.
That's just the bit that Kev's interested in.
Yeah, Kev just wants to get out his lightsaber and touch ends. Just the tip.
There he is
There
at
you go,
home.
that's the whole thing.
Wow. Just a casual Tuesday.
Just waiting for Uber Eats.
Yeah, that was at Halloween this year. The kids love it. The adults are absolutely terrified because they think I'm a mannequin, and then I move. But it's part of.
Oh wow.
It's I do charity costuming, so I'm part of the UK Garrison.
Oh mate, that's amazing.
Which is a 500 part of the 501st Legion. We do charity work and hospital visits and bits and pieces like that. So get to dress up as Star Wars
mate,
characters
that's incredible.
and make kids smile.
Or
Yeah, that's
terrify them.
Yeah, to be fair, the kids
That's a
you
really,
get two ranges. You either get absolutely loving it or terrified. There's no in between. But yeah,
Yeah.
You've got like the Santa Claus effect at a mall.
yeah.
Kids love you, but if they sit on your knee, they cry.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how many stormtroopers? You're not really going to sit on a stormtrooper's knee. I think that feels a bit.
Well, partly because I can't
That'd
sit
be a
down
bit strange.
But yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, I can feel your light. Is that a lightsaber in your pocket?"
It's quite
Is that a
tight on
blaster
the
or
old
you just pleased to see me?
on the old jingle bells. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Drew wore your outfit wandering around London, didn't you?
I think we're wandering around Birmingham actually.
Birmingham.
Birmingham. But yeah, it was fun trying to come up with scenarios like as stormtroopers for the whole day, man. So I like every time we crossed the road, like
You
it
need
would
to provide context to Ben. Why were you in a
pinch
stormtrooper?
my ass cheeks. It was well, it was
That's
it was
why
May
it was
the
in it.
it was May the 4th.
Oh, cool.
It was May the 4th, and
Yeah.
Oh,
which
that's
is
the only context.
I believe it's
That's all you
National
need.
Star Wars Day, right? So
Yeah.
that's all you need, man. Come on. Even the
But it
people
doesn't-
listening to this episode understand what May the 4th means.
Yeah, but you might not know that you're an actor and it was a paid gig. Probably it wasn't just.
Yeah. Sorry,
oh,
I'm not doing it. You know,
it's Monday
for
and I have a
charities.
spare hour.
I'm not doing it out of the kindness of my heart, like you, helping out in hospitals and
I'm doing it for the paycheck.
making kids' days. I was getting paid. I was getting paid to come up with stupid scenarios where we went into like a guitar shop and like we're all just like playing guitars and doing stupid things dressed as stormtroopers. Then we did one where we're like in the casino, and then I was like, I bet it all on red or something, and then I'm like that, like, and then I lost all my money, and the other stormtroopers are like, no, like it was really good fun. Then we did a really weird one where I was proposing
Bane
to
with
another
you?
stormtrooper. It was really
Bane with
funny.
you? No.
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 We were like clinking champagne glasses, and like I was trying to put a wedding ring on another stormtrooper, which was very interesting. It feels very, very current though in this kind of world, to be honest. A stormtrooper could marry another stormtrooper for sure. But yeah, I was just doing
What's going on?
crazy things in a stormtrooper.
Drew's
Derailed it.
just
We're 5
like
minutes
reeling
in.
off his bucket list for 2025.
Yeah, I know, right? But then when you walk in it, it kept pinching my ass, like the back of the costume.
Yeah.
That's why I loved wearing it, really. No, but whenever we walked across the road, bits of it fell off, and like the people that were like looking after us and dressing us up, they kept like picking up bits and pieces of stormtrooper just randomly found around Birmingham, and then just like bringing it back to like the little area where we were kind of chilling out.
James, do you want to hear something weird? I've never said this sentence before, and I never will say it again, most likely. But me and you, James, seem like the two most adult people in this room, and those other two men are actually married to real women. And
I've never seen Drew's wife and him in the same room. This could be some Norman Bates situation that when we're off the screen, he puts a wig on and gets in the shower.
Wow. Well, I assure
I just
you,
realised as well, we have missed a trick here tonight.
my wife is incredible.
Because she don't say that about you. We missed a trick here tonight. We could have got the undisputed king of sci-fi on the podcast, couldn't we? Young Reef Faulkner, whose Christmas list consists of Poppy's Playground, Slender Man, Siren Head, Five Nights at Freddy's, as well as many Godzilla vs. King Kong things, Japanese and English.
Good choices.
Because he's a psychopath.
So,
Any
that's
stormtrooper stuff?
6-year-old child. Reef.
He knows everything about like Siren Head, like Slender Man, all this stuff. He's obsessed with. He watches Japanese Godzilla movies when I'm not looking.
Do you know what that is, Ben? Because
He's probably watching The Ring as well.
He would.
So that's more sort of sci-fi
He likes
horror.
Huggy Wuggy and stuff like that. And he was watching Backrooms the other day. You know what Backrooms is?
No.
It sounds dodgy.
Backrooms is like a sort of horror kind of thing. It's so fun. It's pretty sketchy. But he was watching it from the perspective of a guy playing it with two Spider-Man characters.
Okay.
And one of them was Mexican. And oh my word, right? They're running around his Backrooms, and Huggy Wuggy's this big like monster from like Poppy Playtime.
Okay.
I feel like I'm on drugs. What's happening?
Yeah, but I feel like we're no longer the
Google
kids
Poppy
here. Like
Playtime.
you guys now sound like the kids. Well,
If you Google Poppy Playtime, it's basically all horror characters. And Backrooms is like this kind of like horror
Is it a
sort of
co-op
thing.
game?
It's not really something you charge.
Is that like DM rooms but for like monsters?
Ben, are you? I just want checking you're close enough to your mic.
Can you hear me? Okay.
I think you're a little bit on the quieter side.
I think you sounded louder when you had the Stormtrooper hat on, actually.
I think backrooms would fall into science fiction.
I can
Like, there's videos of people that have fallen into backrooms and that.
So that's a co-op game, right?
So Google backrooms.
I think that's a little bit better. Yeah, because we have a habit of, if we don't hear someone, we just keep talking. So
even though we've got guests, we just forget we have guests. We're terrible hosts.
You want me to sound like a stormtrooper for the rest of this?
Oh, can you put on voices?
I can try and do an accent if you want.
Go on. Let's have it.
Move along. I'm going to need to see some identification.
Nice.
But this is backrooms.
Nice.
It's just rooms.
That looks quite creepy. What was that weird octopus? That weird octopus
they're
running.
pretty sketchy things. They're like urban legend kind of stuff.
Right. Well, we're gonna tell you what we got up to this weekend before we talk about movies.
I already know.
Yeah. Well,
was it just the tip?
Someone milks a cow.
Well, you should know because I told you guys like enough times. But yeah, me and Ben went with a bunch of friends to the Taskmaster live experience,
where you violated a cow.
Where we violated a cow.
I'd like to say Kevin violated
Ben,
a
do you
cow.
want to show us?
Had no involvement in the violation of the cow. Weirdly, the vegan was more involved in the violation than I was.
Yeah, that's worrying, right?
No. If you look at the photo, it's Chris is violating the teat. JD is violating the anus, and I am standing in shock and horror, not touching anything.
I thought you were trying to teabag the cow at one point.
Kev, you were touching yourself while that was going on.
I was at the wrong end of the cow for that.
There's no wrong end of the cow.
Ben, show us what
I've seen.
Show us what you got from today.
Back to school with Rage Whale. Here's show and tell.
I got a medal. Woo!
Ben won.
Oh, you get medals.
Yeah,
it's
actually
like a really decent medal.
We won. We didn't get anything.
Yeah, solid.
Mate, that's awesome.
Kev, remember that medal you got from Jimmy Savile when he made you cry?
Yeah.
That story ended in tears.
Did you win the cow one, or is it different sections, or is that the overall thing, or what was
you could take photo that when you arrived, it was like a big bunker, wasn't it? And like there was loads of like random games and things you could have play on and have fun, take photos. When you started the actual experience, you weren't allowed to use your phone. It's like an hour of literal genuine tasks. We actually had to solve puzzles and do things. And I did say.
So it sounds like work, really. It's not fun.
Well, they're a bit silly. I think. Don't you agree that if that was all you had to do, it would be a rip-off. But because it was just fun and she was so charismatic, it made it fun.
The Crystal Maze experience was much better. The Taskmaster, there was 5 tasks, including the final task, and I felt that there was much more happening at the Crystal Maze side of things. The tasks were really good though, and the whole sort of immersive experience was very interesting. Obviously, there's 2 routes that you can do. We did Melon Party. I'm not quite sure what the other one is, but it felt good, but a little bit short for what we were paying at the time.
How long was it?
It was.
It's said to budget like 2 to 3 hours.
No, it was an hour.
Yeah.
So it was only an hour?
Yeah.
But you could stay there as long as you wanted. Like I said, it was a big, cool room. Then you got called in to do like 5 tasks. And at the end, you're in the cool room and you could get a beer and play other, like, right, James, did you watch? You actually watched Taskmaster, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Drew, you haven't, have you?
No, I have seen Taskmaster. I love it. That's great.
Can you remember the task where it had Thingy Bob were throwing potatoes in a golf hole?
Don't step on
like there's a red green. Yeah. So it had a big red plinth and a hole in the middle, and you had to chuck a potato in it. So we could play that game as long as we wanted. And there was a game where you had to hit the buzzer on 10 seconds exactly. If you hit it, you got a free beer. None of it did.
Cool.
I'll tell you what, Ben might be able to confirm something here, because I saw you had quite a few pictures you took on your phones when you were there, weren't you? Didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't help but feel that we weren't allowed to have our phones in the Crystal Maze one.
Well, we weren't either.
There was
None of us had. I think we had to put them in a locker.
Yeah, you weren't allowed to take your phones within the Crystal Maze. Technically, we weren't allowed to take our phones inside the Taskmaster's house, but there was a section outside that Kevin's talking about that was open to the public, so you could have your phones outside there, and that's where we took those pictures.
There was nothing like that at the Crystal Maze. We just got our pictures taken in the jackets, and then that was kind of it.
So
and that's why it felt like
the cow wasn't a task.
No.
No, it was just out
This is
there
not a difficult concept to
for people
grasp.
to touch.
It would have been cool to get your pictures taken in a dome as a team. Would have been quite cool, but they didn't even like offer that as like an extra like £5 or something.
So the Taskmaster house has got like the caravan and stuff's there, and the cow, and it's just a big, massive bunker.
But that's all the stuff
with a load of
outside.
shit.
The Monopoly one next.
I've not taken a single photo in the games because you're not allowed to.
Crystal Maze one's really random because it's literally in the middle of like nowhere.
Apart from that one I got told off for. Ben
you got told
got
off? What did you take? What did you take?
Well, Ben got his medal and sat on the throne, and she was like, "We're going to take a photo now." So I got my phone out straight away and took a photo of Ben on the throne. She went, "No, my camera." I was like,
whoa.
Yeah, I didn't think the Crystal Maze one was a bit stinged that you didn't get a crystal if you won. Like you had to
pay for that.
Like you got a medal, which was quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
you know what?
value for money wise, Crystal Maze is definitely better. Whilst obviously there's all the stuff going on around the Taskmaster's house, that's anyone can go and do that. It's not part of the experience that you're paying for. So you're paying for an hour-long experience, which is great. It's good fun. It's very engaging. It's very to the T of the show. You're very much experiencing what you see on TV. But with the Crystal Maze, I mean, James, you'll remember, like, you get to walk and like crawl to get to the next zone, and you go through the special door. You get your own
host, don't you, and everything. You have to run around and Has anyone done the live Monopoly one? Because that looks quite good, but it's quite expensive.
Isn't that just life?
Do you get £200 every time you pass go?
Yeah, there's a life-size Monopoly. Obviously, it's not a life-size Monopoly board, but there's a Monopoly Experience. But it's like £75, I think, or something. So I've never met anyone that's actually done it, but it looks like it doesn't even give away what, because in Monopoly you don't do games, do you? You just buy something. So I don't really know what you do.
It'll probably be a little task to win the thing or whatever each go.
Yeah, you have to build hotels and houses, right? And then say rent.
I've not done the Crystal Maze one, but when we're at Taskmaster, Charmaine, Chris's partner, was saying that she wanted to organise that, but it might be in Manchester if you want to come up.
But the London one is literally in the middle of nowhere. Like you walk up this road of like offices, and it's just like a door.
I'm sure it's in like Islington, isn't it?
It's in a really random place.
When I did it, it was in Islington.
But you don't get really any photo opportunities. We took our picture with our jackets on next to the door, and then that's kind of it. You kind of don't do anything else until you finish. Well, I don't even really recall them offering like photo opportunities, to be fair, because I think we would have done it. But we had like a locker. I think we put our phones in that, because in the Crystal Maze, you're like climbing around on that, so things will fall out your pocket. So
yeah, this is more relaxed. This is more relaxed. It's not about running around. I think we chose. There's two things: the melon buffet, like Ben was saying, and another one. Just two weird names for tasks. The second one had more other stuff, and I think that one might be one where you wouldn't be allowed certain things, because I think that requires more acting, performing tasks.
The downside of the Crystal Maze is I was stupid enough to choose like a physical for my first one, and it was basically a room that was probably like 6 meters by 6 meters squared, and there was like a rope about this high, and then another one down by your feet, and you had to go along the wall on the rope, go along the other wall, and throw these boulders on this like sand, and you had to basically get enough boulders to hop over the sand pit and grab the crystal. It was absolutely knackering. I was like sweating. It was like, bearing in mind we were planning to go out on a night. I was like, it's a terrible decision. You got like a helmet on as well, so your hair's done, and it's like you like grabbing it along like that. It's really it was bloody fun though.
Don't go for
But
a
it is
date.
exhausting.
Oh, Crystal Maze in London is now next to Piccadilly Circus. So it's
Oh,
moved.
we might have moved it then in that case.
Sorry to interrupt the show. Just a reminder to say we love and appreciate you all for listening to the podcast, whether it's on Spotify, Apple, or Amazon. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, follow, as this really helps us continue to progress and improve the content and keeps us making these fun episodes for you guys. Oh, we're also on these things called Instagram and TikTok. You can follow us there too, as we share short, funny reels on the reg that you can share with friends if you like. Now, back to the mayhem.
Yeah, it was somewhere random. It was literally just up a row of nothing, and then it was just
in the middle of IKEA.
I think it used to be in Islington, but not Angel, like the bottom, like where Angel goes south and it goes into like nowhere land for a bit. But yeah, do you want to see what I got from Taskmaster Live Experience?
Nope. What's that? Golden duck?
Dude.
Does it squeak?
Got a golden
That's
duck.
famous golden duck.
It says
Oh,
the
that's
best
really
of the
cool.
worst, because Ben smashed everything and I lost everything. So on the final task, there's I think it was like 15 of us. There was 10 of us had to go into this room and sit on a chair because we were the losers. We didn't get any points or like under 2 points. And the 5 best winners did the game. But while they were playing the game of knocking things down and stuff, I had to do a test on a keypad. And whoever got closest wins. So I won that. So I was the best of the worst. And I got a free duck. Didn't have to pay for it. Although 70 quid for a duck is quite high, I guess.
At least
It's
it's
cool.
gold.
Put that on a trophy shelf.
Yeah, it's a gold
Yeah.
duck.
That's gonna be back here in view
Does it float?
forever. Yeah, it's a proper duck. It's proper
Puts in the bath every
proper
night.
duck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we had a jolly good old time.
We did indeed.
Nice.
You have a gay old time like the Flintstones?
Probably the gayest. Can't think of anything gayer.
Sweet.
Can you?
Yes. Absolutely.
Anyway, Ben, we thought in your honour, and I can't say it without sounding condescending. I don't mean it to be, but in your honour, we would talk about sci-fi films because you're a massive geek.
This is
We're
true.
all nerds, though, aren't we? Let's be honest.
But,
Yeah, but
right,
we're the
before
ones
we get
running a
into,
podcast
like,
about movies, so I mean, technically,
Yeah.
I don't know.
yeah, well, yeah, a fair point. But
He's
yeah,
got you there.
Before we go
And
into
then Ben's like,
before we go into the weeds and everyone gets excited again, Ben, what is it about sci-fi that makes it your favorite, or am I just projecting? Is that not actually your favorite? And either way, what is your favorite sci-fi shtick?
what turns on your lightsaber?
Yeah, that's a good way of describing it. I've always liked sci-fi. I guess it's the escape from reality, and the fantastic nature of seeing something that you're not going to see in your day-to-day life. Star Wars was the first sci-fi film that I remember watching, and it was because my dad had bought the remastered VHS back in the 90s, and it was sat on the side of the kitchen, and I vividly remember looking at it going, what's that? And my dad was like, oh, it's Star Wars. Do you want to watch it? And I'm like, yeah, like, that seems really cool. And so I watched A New Hope, and then Empire, and then Jedi, and it just kind of spiraled from there. So Star Wars has always been the main one, probably why I spend weekends dressed up as a stormtrooper. And then TV shows, films, if I've got like an evening to watch something, it will still be, sci-fi based would be my preference if I can.
I got a question. Being Star Wars, one of my favourite movies of all time is Spaceballs.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that one of the funniest films ever?
It is very, very funny.
Lone
There's
Star.
lots of good callbacks to Star Wars specifically. And the combing the desert scene is brilliant.
Or when they get jammed and it's a big jam jar.
Yeah.
Here's my follow-up then. Isn't it mad when you look back now that technically we live in a world that far surpassed any science fiction movie ever made? Because the one thing science fiction in the 80s, 90s, 70s, whatever, never ever predicted is the one thing the world survives on, and that's the internet. It never predicted that, did it? Like, it completely flew under the radar.
Off the top of my head,
Usually like high-tech watches.
I think the level of communication that you're talking about where things are connected in that way, I'd say Star Trek is probably the closest. Just because you've got...
Or maybe Skynet?
Yeah, Star Trek being a little bit earlier, but Skynet is, it's a global communication AI that is bent on destroying humanity because it's the safest thing to do. But
isn't it insane how close we are to that actually happening?
Well, this is the really great thing about sci-fi is that it inspires so much, and a lot of science fiction does end up becoming science fact because people go, well, wouldn't that be really cool if we made that? Is it possible? Let's go do it. So you're watching like early episodes of the original series of Star Trek, and they've got data pads, and they
flick the thing up,
and the communicators, and they've got, and at the time when that was released, that was complete science fiction. It was completely impossible to imagine a world where you'd have something that's this thin that has the world at your fingertips. And the level of communication that you're talking about in terms of the internet isn't necessarily described, I think, in exactly the same way, but you do have a centralized computer that has all information on it that you can access at any point. So it's similar, but not exactly the same.
Yeah, I think we live definitely in science fiction at the moment with, like, you've got your Tesla self-driving cyber cabs that, if anyone is in London, by the way, in December time, there is a opportunity to go and test the cyber cabs. Where you can actually, if you sign up on the Tesla website, you can get invited to go and test the cyber cabs. So you get in them, no steering wheel, no driver, no nothing.
And you should do that and report back.
They've locked me in. They won't let me out.
Dressed as a stormtrooper as well.
You can
you've got the Tesla bot. Like, who thought that was going to be a thing?
Yeah, what are they called again?
I think they're called the Tesla bot, aren't they?
No, they've got a name.
But if you follow robotics, which I have for a long time, like since this is being really nerdy now. Like, I don't know if anyone remembers when we were probably like early teenagers, there was a thing called the Sony Aibo, AIBO, and it was a robotic dog.
Oh yeah,
you could buy it, and it was about $1,000. But that was, nowadays you'd consider that someone could just buy it. But back in like 1999, 2002, that's a lot of money.
You
probably still buy them now. And there were robotic dogs that used to obey commands and have cameras. And then you've jumped up to that Boston Dynamics. I don't know if any of you follow Boston Dynamics. They make the robots that are like humanoids that do the flips and they do the tricks and everything. And they also make them dogs that you see everywhere now that can kind of like walk around, go into fires or like war zones.
You've seen the evolution videos of Boston Dynamics where you can see
Boston Dynamics is like the forefront.
Yeah. And they've got like, originally it's tethered.
Yeah, they're up there. And then, I mean, eventually it will be affordable. Like, if you think of the best example of tech going from crazy to mainstream is cameras, which Kev will probably attest to. Like 10 years ago, not even 10 years ago, 5 years ago, a film would be laughed at if it wasn't filmed out with like an Arri Alexa, which is like £100,000 camera with like a £20,000 lens. And they're obviously just releasing 28 years later on an iPhone 15 or 16. And it's going to look legit, and no one will know the difference. It's crazy in your pocket. But I think with the Tesla bots and that, and all this stuff, it's like we are there. The only thing we've never worked out is the flying cars. It's the one thing from sci-fi history
I think
that
we're cool with that.
we'll probably not. We will not see that in our lifetime.
Yeah, but people crash on cars that are on a road, let alone ones flying through the air. Can you imagine drunk drivers flying home?
There are drone taxis in Dubai, but I don't think we'll ever see a day, especially in our lifetime, where there'll be flying cars around.
With the advent of AI, Tesla, I think you'd be surprised at the quickness at which automated travel will come about. I think it's going to be similar
AI is another one. Yeah, AI
processing power, because we're about that far away from cracking quantum computing to the point where it becomes cost effective. It's not that it doesn't exist; it's just we can't do it cost effectively at the moment. And when you've got that increase in computing power coupled with AI, I think there will be a massive leap forward in automation. And especially with drones becoming a lot more commonplace, it'd be very interesting to see how that scopes out in the next 15, 20 years.
Well, yeah, because wasn't Amazon trying to, they want to get loads of drones so your stuff can get delivered by drone, like next day delivery? It's like...
Well, you've got Deliveroo delivered by robots in Birmingham. Have you not seen them? The little...
Yeah, and
have you not seen them?
And the drone stuff happens in some places.
Yeah.
If you look at if you Google the Uber Eats,
it's a little robot that drives along the pavement.
It's a little white cool box sort of thing, and it drives around the street.
Oh, is this the one that I've seen people clicking over?
How long does that take to get to your house, though?
Don't know, but you see pictures of people helping them. Sometimes they fall off a curb and help them up. That's been around for a couple of years.
That's mental. Your delivery. By the time you get it, the robot's going to be knackered.
Sideways.
I think they use more for groceries rather than urgent meals. But yeah, they've been a thing for a while.
So James, you need to add that to your list of things that are scuppered by steps. So Nazis, dialects, and those things.
Robots, yeah.
And those Hoovers as well. The Hoovers that do themselves.
Roombas. Also, the robot's called an Optimus Prime, and here is Kim Kardashian buying a gold Tesla and a gold Optimus and doing a modeling shoot with the robot.
But the irony is she hasn't bought that because the robot doesn't work. It's operated by people at the moment, which is what we saw in the demo, was people were moving the robot.
I don't know if that's true.
Because it is true. They confirm that. It was people automating them. Yeah. I don't think Tesla has its own AI yet. Not good enough to do that. They will do, though. Because Elon Musk is the ultimate Bond villain.
Yeah.
Who's the Simpsons Bond villain guy that makes the flamethrower and the
Mr. Burns?
No. Remember they go to that island. He fancies Marge.
Yeah, and he's like,
doesn't he?
Well, put your coat on the wall, and Homer's like, oh, there are no walls, and everything's a circle. It's going to annoy me now.
Can you remember when the Boring Company...
Look, 1 second. Can anyone name that guy? I just Googled him.
No.
It's not in focus, is it?
Everyone knows what the Boring Company is, though, don't they?
Yeah. That was Elon Musk's...
The Boring Company, Drew, is Elon Musk, one of his company that bores holes, but you call it the Boring Company.
Is it Russ Cargill?
The Boring Company's first product was a flamethrower for sale for the public. And he actually went out and be like, no, you shouldn't buy it. It's a really bad decision. And then they're like, how much did you sell? He's like, 25,000. Flamethrower.
That's ridiculous.
He's like, 20,000. You said, I said you shouldn't buy it. It's really, really irresponsible.
Too many people have watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and they're just going to
You know the funny bit about that scene?
Ben, what's his name? I couldn't see his thing. What's the name, Ben?
The name of the bad guy in Simpsons is Hank Scorpio.
Oh.
Drew, you know that scene with DiCaprio with the flamethrower?
Yeah.
You know when he's like, shit, that's really hot?
Yeah,
That was real. That
it's
wasn't
real,
scripted. He was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We turned it down and it's really hot.
There's the irony. Hank Scorpio with a flamethrower.
There you go.
It all links up.
Predicting the future again.
Once again.
So
Well, I was going to say, because Futurama, right? They've got those things called suicide booths, and there's rumors that in certain countries they're going to start creating suicide booths. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, we're
No.
getting over here.
Sounds great when you're like drunk and you go into the wrong booth. I just need to make a phone call.
We're getting euthanasia over here in the next 5 years.
Yeah, we
That's
are.
mental.
That is actually a thing.
I know.
But it's I
But I
agree
think it's
with
great,
it.
though, the idea of someone going, okay, I don't want to see tomorrow, and then they go into
No,
one of those
that's not
booths,
how
and
it's
it's
going to
like,
work. It'll be months and months of counselling, and it'll
So-
be like people that say, for example, you ever seen that film Me Before You?
It's going to be it's probably going to be people who are ill. It's not going to
You've
have
got to be
anything
in
to
the
do with
Have you seen that
last
mental
film with
6
issues.
months
Emily?
of your life. Is the current legislation.
Have you seen the
you're
film?
You're dying anyway.
Chronic illnesses.
Have you seen the film Me Before You?
1 second, James. You said that 10 times. We're finishing this bit.
It's
Fucking
the
hell.
same thing. Talking about the same thing. Amelia
Mental
Clarke.
Games before you.
Yeah, she's it's a brilliant film actually. It's quite sad. She reminds me of Bridget Jones actually. She's quite funny. She basically becomes a carer for this guy that was into like all these extreme sports, and he'd do all this sort of stuff and that, and he gets hit by a car on his bike on the way to work or whatever. That. And his whole idea from the get-go is like, I'm going to Switzerland in like X amount of time. And the whole film, she's trying to talk him out of it. And then you get to a point where you think, oh, he's actually not going to do it anymore. He's like, no, yeah, I am. See you later. Like, that I get. Like, because he's like nothing.
Yeah. Anyway, I've got a question for Ben. When you wear your stormtrooper outfit, do you know which stormtrooper you're playing? Is it the guy who bangs his head?
Versus what? Every other one.
That's the only one I know.
That's
He's
the
the
only
It
one
was
famous
a
you
one.
know.
Daniel Craig one. That,
Oh, yeah,
he's
or Daniel
actually
Craig
First Order
hiding. Wasn't there loads of other
Stormtrooper, which is
celebrities?
different. So Daniel Craig, I think it was in The Force Awakens, he plays a First Order Stormtrooper. So we get very
yeah.
pedantic and specific about the types of Stormtrooper that you are, because you can get cleared for about 12 different types of Stormtrooper. Specifically, that is a New Hope stunt Stormtrooper. And then there's various others, but you don't really play a specific Stormtrooper. You are a Stormtrooper, if that makes sense.
We're not
But that's
we're
New
not the
Hope.
droids you're looking for. Sorry.
That is the headbanger. That's the headbanger, right?
Well, there's headbangers in a lot of them because you can't see shit out of them. So, like, from about here and down, you can't see anything at all. I mean, Drew, if you've worn one of the helmets, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, mate, I do, mate. I do. I was so disorientated afterwards. I was like, who needs drugs? Just wear one of these.
Yeah.
I've got a good question for you. Who's your favourite bad guy in Star Wars of all time? Pick one. Don't say Darth Vader, the obvious one. Like
I know what you're going to say, James, and I agree. He's awesome. He's badass.
But you can pick Darth Vader because he probably is still the best.
The one I'm going to pick, I wish lasted more than one film.
Also, you've got to pick the film and the time. Like, if you pick Darth Vader, are you talking like Empire Strikes Back Darth Vader, or are you talking Adam Driver Darth Vader?
In general, great.
But it's two different types of acting, and do you know what I mean?
But Adam Driver's
just in general, great's back.
Adam Driver's not Darth Vader. He's Kylo Ren.
Yeah, he's not Darth Vader. Yeah. Dumbass.
See, Kevin, now you look an idiot. You look an idiot in this sci-fi episode.
Well, I don't. I actually look really cool because I'm the only one who's not a geek.
Yeah, Darth Vader's Anakin Skywalker.
Touche.
I
mean,
apart from Darth Vader, who's
anyway, shall I get an answer? Yeah.
Iconic,
all right, go on then.
And he's definitely the Star Wars villain, whether that be, Anakin going into Darth Vader, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, probably. I mean, Tarkin is.
We won't hold you to it.
Tarkin's pretty cool. So Grand.
Who's that for normal people?
He's the guy in A New Hope who orders the destruction of Alderaan.
Still no idea. I know I've seen that film a million times. Is he the bad guy? Is the old guy in the cloak?
Yeah, he's the one.
It's Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing.
Yep.
The actor. No.
Yeah, I know the guy.
Okay. Yeah.
Who's it? I don't know who he is in that film.
Grand Moff Tarkin in A New Hope. But there's a lot.
Is he using the telekinesis though? Is he the?
No.
Okay.
I will say a bad guy that I very much enjoyed that wish was in more than one film, and that was Darth Maul.
Yeah, with a double-edged stick.
He's in...
I think he did it really well. The guy that played him, what was his name?
Is that what you were going to say, Drew, as well? You're going...
Yeah.
The guy who plays him's on my tongue as well.
And do you remember that he had everyone knows this, but he had an earring in real life, and he forgot to take the earring out, so they just made it part of his character.
Well,
really?
Ray Park is the actor, and just to add to the earring thing, he just had it done, and he didn't want to take it out.
Oh, it's parkour, isn't it, that he's doing? Ah.
And basically,
is he doing parkour?
No. His name is Ray Park.
He's doing parkour fighting.
He's always at shows doing the double lightsaber thing.
Awesome guy. But yeah,
Sorry, Capoeira. Sorry,
Kev hasn't got a clue about Star Wars.
It's Capoeira. The fight style he's doing is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's like Brazilian
jiu-jitsu.
It feels like Capoeira.
So let's move off Star Wars. Kev obviously hasn't ever seen any Star Wars films.
No, I've seen all of them. Wait a minute. Right, okay. Let's stay on Star Wars for a minute before we go off then, right? Because I don't want to talk about it forever either, because I don't know much about it, but I'm curious.
Are you going to say R2-D2 and C-3PO the first ever on-screen gay couple?
Are they?
It's a solid
metal that touches.
C-3PO is definitely a bit...
And they were both pretty solid, so...
That way,
docking.
Like, he was always walking around like this, wasn't he?
Well, that's mainly because it's really difficult to move in that costume.
Wally.
What's your genuine thoughts of the new program?
The helmet is 2 pieces, and Anthony Daniels was screwed into that. So the whole thing is like literally on top of your face, and you can't get it off. It is one of the most claustrophobic things.
Sits on my face.
A bit like Kev when he sits on your face.
What do you genuinely think about the new Star Wars things? I don't even remember all the shows because there's so many of them. But
do you think they're saturating it too much?
My personal opinion is that Mandalorian was good. Everything else was not.
Did they milk the teat too hard?
I mean, they were always going to.
And the other one.
They were always going to, because it is such a big moneymaker, and that's understandable. If you're going to buy an IP for billions, you need it to be worth the investment that you're making. I think when you're doing something like that, you're always going to try different things that might not necessarily have been done before, just to see if they work, because you never know. Obviously, it's not going to work for everybody, and there's a group of people that is the majority of the audience, and not everyone is necessarily going to like everything. There's been comics, games, TV shows, animation, films. There's been everything that you can sort of try, and some of it's worked really well, some of it hasn't. Monopoly. I've actually got a copy of. Hang on.
That's sick, though, isn't it? The Star Wars Monopoly is sick.
There you go.
Yes, Ben. Yes.
I've just thought of an interesting question.
Come on.
Actually, a genuinely interesting question. Do you think, bearing in mind, like, kids now probably aren't going to go back and watch like the original Star Wars at a choice? They'll be like, oh, someone might tell them about it. But say like do you think the modern versions of Star Wars are enough to create the fans that the original 3 did nowadays?
So,
there's no Han
speaking
Solo.
from experience, whilst I'm dressed up as a stormtrooper, little kids recognise what I am. And I think there's been, because it's not just the films that they're watching, there's TV shows that cover, the original series era. There are cartoons that cover the original series era, prequel era, blah, 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 blah. And there's a myriad of ways someone can get introduced to Star Wars now, other than just the original trilogy or the prequels or the sequels or whatever you want to call it. And I think kids still resonate with it quite a lot. because it's designed, you've got Young Jedis now, which is designed to be aimed specifically at preschool children or very young children to sort of get them interested in Star Wars and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I don't think that the lack of interest in maybe the original trilogy is necessarily going to take away from maybe wanting to go back and watch them again when you know a bit more about it.
Do you think they should have been more diverse with the stormtroopers? Like, you could have had stormtroopers in like wheelchairs or like on crutches or like.
Why would you employ that person? I mean, you just fight.
I just thought to make it a little bit more, a bit more fair. They could be quite fast though if they were chasing you. If they were chasing you on one of those electronic things, they'd be pretty fast. To be fair.
So there are clones or troopers with disabilities or with differently abled people within Star Wars. If you take a look at the Bad Batch, for example, which is a TV series based on the Clone Wars, you've got Tech and you've got a couple of other guys who have got bionic arms and not just hands. Also Luke and Darth Vader. I mean, Darth Vader is 99% robot, so yeah,
true. And Luke loses an arm, so he becomes.
I've got a good one, and Kev's going to be shocked because I've done my research for this podcast. Is one of the one thing that, being someone that spends a lot of time in toy shops,
he stalks children.
No, I have a child, and I am a terrible parent and buy him everything he wants.com.
And they don't have to be from him.
Kids?
He collects them. He wants one in every different size.
Do you have a
and
tiny
color.
person?
No, I don't.
We've all got a tiny person. You're in a child, man.
No. Oh, it's the best because I live my childhood through my son now because it's brilliant. So we go to toy shops and that, and there's very little in the way of like Star Wars toys, which is weird in a sense that the original, when I went to playgroup when I was little, when I was like 4 or 5, I remember playing with Star Wars toys like the Millennium Falcon and that. And do you collect them at all?
Yeah, well, I collect a bunch.
I saw Darth Vader behind you.
Okay, here's the big question then. One of the holy grails of toy collections is the rocket firing Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
Because, don't know if you know this one, Kev, it was a rocket firing Boba Fett that basically had a backpack and shot a rocket. They deemed it too dangerous to children, so they cancelled it. So only like, I think 2 were ever made, maybe.
I think it's 3.
How much would you pay for that if you were a millionaire?
There's very few of them around.
24 grand.
How much would you love that in your collection?
It would be very cool.
I just sold,
but it's a lot of money for one toy.
Yeah.
Have you got? Have you got a Lego Millennium Falcon?
Yes, I have several.
Oh, yeah. Real fan.
Yeah.
Real fan.
He's got lots of Lego shit and
have
just
you got
general.
The Death Star. Because I heard that
I
cost
built
a
an X-wing
fortune.
the other day out of Lego that came with a magazine with Reef.
I swear to God, it cost a fortune to get the Death Star in Lego.
The money. Yeah.
The Lego magazines come with like spaceships all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you need to put that on your Christmas list, Ben.
The Lego Death Star?
Here's another one, Ben.
Yeah, man.
Well, on the toys, about 2-3 years ago. Oh no, God, pandemic messes up my brain. It must be like 2019. I sold a big batch of Star Wars toys.
Regretting that.
I had all the original toys from the 80s, and I put them all down on the floor because he said, set them all out for me so when I come round, I can just see, I can visualize everything rather in a box,
when I come
sifting through. So I laid them all out and I had loads of like weapons, like little guns and sticks and stuff, and they're all loose. So I just put them in a pile. Within seconds, he walked in. He went, "That stick goes with him. That gun goes with him." I'm like, what are you on about? I don't even recognize who these people are. Like, I just remember them being part of Star Wars, and I sold them all for quite many hundreds of pounds. And yeah, like I'm not going to touch them again. Like it was peak Star Wars season because the third film had just come out or was just coming out of the new set. So yeah, just sold them all, got rid of them all. Had the
Millennium Falcon as well. Video games, the racing one on the N64.
Pod Racer, yeah.
That was such a good game.
They've done
It was
an
quite like
amazing
Wipeout.
array of different games.
The Force Awakening is insane.
Have you played Jedi Survivor?
It's honestly, it's like a movie.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Have you played Jedi Survivor? So you've got
The Force Awakening when you start on a ship and you're like sliding down the whole time. It's just insane.
the games have come along a long way. I mean, from like my first experience with the Star Wars games was Dark Forces on the PC, and X-Wing and TIE Fighter and bits and pieces, and going from,
that was the big box PC stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We used to get big box.
Yeah, you had like it's like a board game.
I played the one on the. I played the one on the PlayStation where you can use the Force, and it's a bit like Call of Duty, but you're against each other. It's insane. It's really
sounds
cool.
like
Kevin, do you remember big box PC games?
Battlefront? I think it might be Battlefront. Yeah.
Do you remember big box PC games? They were like that big, and you'd like have like all the discs in there, all like the stories, the maps, all that sort of stuff. That was where TIE Fighter came from. There was like loads of TIE Fighter games.
Crazy times.
You'd have like floppy disks you just have to put in and stuff. They'd have all like big ass boxes, like cereal boxes nearly.
No, I don't remember that.
Oh, Kev.
Are you looking forward to the new Mandalorian and Grogu film?
Yeah, there's a whole like timeline of stuff that's coming out. Very much like the Mandalorian, like Grogu. Would love to do a Din Djarin.
Obi-Wan was good.
Outfit. Obi-Wan was very good. Yeah.
It's together, Drew. It's the same film.
No, Obi-Wan was a TV series, man, with Ewan McGregor.
No, we said Mandalorian and Grogu. That's the same film.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. I'm talking about when you were saying Mandalorian. I was throwing my TV series, not my TV series.
All right.
Can I ask Ben a
Obi-Wan was
question?
great. It's got Ewan McGregor, Kev.
But that.
Can I ask Ben a
I don't
question?
care.
Go for it,
Sure,
James.
no,
Sam,
you
what's your
McGregor, yeah,
favourite sci-fi film of all time?
Ooh.
Outside of Star Wars?
Top three. I'll give you top three. So give me three. I won't. It'd be mean to say one.
So if I take,
Actually, should we remove Star Wars from the conversation? Because we know.
Take Star Wars or trilogies out.
Because that's 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, take out Star Trek and all that sort of stuff. Just like standalone sci-fi films. Because a lot of people, to me, say the original, The Day the Earth Stood Still. The original.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, I find the pacing of older sci-fi a little bit difficult sometimes. One for me that hasn't changed despite age is the original Alien film. That is a perfect horror film. It is a perfect sci-fi film. It is
100%.
Absolutely
perfect
fantastic. I really like Event Horizon.
We're all big fans of that. Oh, before we go,
Event Horizon.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
You don't
just
need eyes where we're going.
Just before we moved off that,
Lawrence Fishburne.
Ben, have you seen the new one? Have you seen Alien Romulus yet?
I have seen Alien Romulus, yeah.
Did you enjoy?
It was there was a bit of fan service. If you've ever played the Alien Isolation game,
100%, yeah.
It is really nice to see the world of Alien through Alien Isolation coming into the film itself. There were a couple of things that I was a bit like, that feels like we're like the 0G acidic blood. I'm like, the chances of making it through that is limited without dying.
Oh,
was that too far fetched from you? Apart from all the aliens running around, was that?
Yeah,
was
it was cool. It was a really cool concept, though.
It was a cool concept.
I mean,
it's just
obviously the bit where you go
navigating through 0G.
The
And
bit where
the acid
shoots
was
the alien.
Yeah, the acid
when
was too far, but the 7-foot alien baby was all right.
That was very
Suckling
much
teats.
sort of
Yeah,
a
that's
callback to Alien 3, or Aliens.
Yes.
It was a bit like, it felt like they were redoing things. It doesn't mean that it wasn't interesting or good, and it was certainly, for me, better than Alien Resurrection and Alien 3 in terms of like visual story. And it was certainly way better than Prometheus and Covenant.
Yeah, I know what you mean by the fans. Like when he shoots the alien, says, you know, like calls her the bitch things. Like, there's no way he'd say that with those words. He's not heard those words before as a robot.
We had this discussion though, Kev. Do you
No,
remember I told you?
Where did he say?
He
Where
said if you get a chance to watch it again, the guy that keeps like beating on him, the kind of bully character, he keeps saying bitch. He says bitch 3 times, and you hear the robot character played by John Davidson. He looks at him when he says bitch, and then it's like he's registering it, so he associates that with somebody that's being a pain
forced,
or whatever.
That's forced to get that wedged in somewhere. I'm not taking it away. Fan service is appropriate in long running franchises. I think you need a bit of it to bring back that nostalgia. But I think it's a standalone movie. Taking away those bits, I thought the movie was excellent, no matter what. Irrelevant of those things.
That's 2 we got.
So Event Horizon.
So
brilliant film.
The difficulty is that there's a lot more than that. I'm just kind of pulling stuff off the top of my head. But Inception.
Oh, you can throw a few out there. It's fine. We'll give you.
Yes,
Inception.
Dude.
Inception's very
Would you
good.
Class that as sci-fi?
Well, of course it is. Yeah.
It's not sort of space science fiction, but it is science fiction.
Yeah, but James, it's about
sci-fi's a weird genre, though, isn't it? It's very hard to like define.
Yeah, but it's entering dreams, man. Of course, it's sci-fi.
Psychological, though. I would have put it down.
It's in the sci-fi section when you Google it. That's for sure.
It falls under things like science fiction horror, science fiction thriller. You know, it's a mash of a couple of genres, but because you're using technology to get inside someone's head and affect or impact their dreams.
It's a masterpiece, man.
I guess The Matrix would be sci-fi, wouldn't it?
It is sci-fi. And that would be on my list as well. The Matrix is absolutely groundbreaking.
Incredible.
Such a unique film.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that for like 20 years.
No, I could watch that any day of the week and be happy about it.
The one sort of...
It lives up to any film now.
It hasn't aged badly at all. Again, it's going to be a sci-fi classic for years to come, but one that is a bit maybe left field that I can find myself watching again and again and again is it the tagline live, die, repeat, or is it the day after tomorrow, live, die?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Had like
Edge
many
of Tomorrow.
names.
Edge of
Tomorrow, yeah.
Like that's
brilliant.
A brilliant film, and one that I can go back.
Drives me mad when they have different movies. It was like Live, Die, Repeat or something stupid like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Emily Blunt and
Tom Cruise. They're planning
movie.
a sequel for it, but I don't know if they're doing it or if it's just. Yeah, it's been talked about for the last year.
Yeah, Edge of Tomorrow is such a better name than Live, Die, Repeat in it. It's like such a cheesy name.
I think that was
they probably have to change it.
Tagline underneath it, but yeah, the
tagline. That was the tagline.
That's what they called it in America. That's what they ran with.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
if you look at it, that is what it's called in America. I remember seeing the DVDs when they were showing the photos of the movie things. It was Live, Die, Repeat, and over here it was Edge of Tomorrow, which sounds proper cool.
Minority Report, Ben?
Yeah. Very good.
What about iRobot?
So
iRobot is up there?
It is definitely up there. I mean, it's
not great.
It's pretty good, but it doesn't have, I think, the same impact as, well, like Minority Report, for example. It's just a bit more of a compelling story.
Yeah, no, it's not a great movie, I think.
But yeah, that would
the
be
the sci-fi element of Minority Report. Sorry, Joe, dude. Do you know, like, there's a bit where he's eating the cereal, and the cereal is doing the advert to him until he throws the cereal, and it's still playing the advert as it hits a wall in the back and falls. And I thought, can you imagine we get to the stage? And I was thinking of it, like, in 5 or 10 years, your cereal box might have like a little built-in video thing. Obviously, cereal will cost a lot more than if you've got like a mini video.
Because you've got the advent of e-ink as a medium for information to be displayed upon. If you go into a lot of shops now, they won't have little paper bits saying this is, £1.50 and this is whatever. They have a little e-ink display, and it can update automatically, and it will have, the product name and the price and a little logo, and that's the kind of thing that we're probably going to see, whether the cost of technology comes down so much that you can start doing stuff like that, and it's cheaper and more efficient to do it on an e-ink display than it is to have it printed out on a piece of paper and changed every week.
I think Total Recall, the original, was a good one.
Total Recall.
Right, before we go on that one, but don't you think, like me and Sadie were talking about it, like when it comes to like TV and adverts, like because for some reason it's only just started recently, but because we live in Chester, very close to Wales and Liverpool, we occasionally get the odd advert that is not national, that is specific to Cheshire Oaks, the designer outlet village, because we're in the proximity of it, and occasionally a couple of Liverpool adverts. I mean, Sadie, we're talking like it can't be that long before, when you go on Facebook or Instagram, the adverts crop up. It's always advertising vinyl players or new music to me or something like that. Like when your TV will start advertising certain programs and films because you watch so much of it, or products because it's linked to your phone. Because my Samsung's, my TVs are attached to my phone. I can turn all them off on my phone and stuff. So it knows shit. It's collecting cookies, So how long till your TV advertises stuff to you?
Well, that's what I was thinking. Because again, to go back to Minority Report, because this is quite cool to bounce back. There's a bit where Tom Cruise's character is jogging through the tunnel, and every time it hits his eyes, it says his name and tries to sell him something. And I was thinking, we're literally seeing a physical version of cookies.
Well, we've got face recognition all around the world. It's easy, like.
No.
One thing. There's one show that is nailed.
But if it wasn't for GDPR, they'd be doing that now. I think
there's one thing that's nailed science fiction more than any other show in the history of anything. That's Black Mirror.
Black Mirror, yeah.
I can't watch it.
Slightly evil side.
It is absolutely amazing. I completely agree, James. But
it's
from a mental health perspective kind of thing, I just go into a rabbit hole.
It's too dark. Yeah.
It's very dark.
The episode where people get points on likes and dislikes, and that's how they can travel. That's what restaurants they can eat.
Yeah, nosedive.
But that is a parody of what is literally happening now, because an influencer can go on holiday now to a luxury hotel, eat luxury food for free as long as they take selfies promoting it. Whereas
and that one with Waldo, they've got that animated person they want to make the Prime Minister.
Oh yeah, but it's do you see the one with the it's like the TikTok thing as well now? If you think about how many people are now become millionaires through TikTok, and now
no one becomes millionaires through TikTok. That's a facade.
Yeah, they do, because that guy that does the famous, he just hints at something.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah,
they don't become millionaires of TikTok.
Yeah, they do, mate.
Yeah, you can monetize it, and that guy promotes other things.
Yeah, that guy is now promoting things for Armani. He promoted stuff for Oppenheimer.
Yeah, they make their money through other things. Everyone's on the breakdowns. TikTok doesn't pay you that much. People are lying.
But that's what I'm saying. But that guy's famous now, and he's in Will Smith's new film.
Dude, I was going to say, you're about the black guy that does the.
Yeah, that does the. Yeah.
It explains.
Yeah,
someone does something complicated and it goes, just
YouTube
do this.
makes the money. Yeah, I can't think of his name.
What film was he in, Drew? You were going to say
he was in the latest Bad Boys movie.
That's it. I remember.
Yeah, it's not TikTok that makes money. It's YouTube views that makes money, monetizes it.
Yeah, but all of these movie companies are going to that guy to advertise their movies. So
look at Jake and Logan Paul.
Hang on,
Jake and Logan Paul.
The Bad Boys guys went to him, like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence went to him and did a few skits with him.
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. and Nolan and all those people went to him for Oppenheimer.
But look at Jake and Logan Paul. They came famous from just being YouTubers.
Well, yeah, exactly.
And Disney kids.
It's easy.
But
the problem with that, guys, is kids nowadays aren't getting normal jobs. When people are saying, "What do you want to be when you're older?" They're like, "I want to be an influencer."
I want to be a YouTuber.
It's that's not a job, though. It's great if you can do that.
Being an influencer and getting paid for it is about the same percentage as being I want to be a professional football player.
Mm.
Yeah. Do you remember in what was the film we watched on Prime? Who Taught You Shapes? Roadhouse.
Oh, God, yeah.
Roadhouse in the intro to the Roadhouse.
Like your chance of making it as an influencer
James,
or a YouTuber is the
dancing,
same as being
the dancing scene at the beginning has got those two dancers that are on TikTok that are married, and they're in Roadhouse. And when I saw it, pissed me off. I'm like, what are these?
But they're probably 1 in 10 million.
Is that the new Roadhouse with Jake
Ben.
Gyllenhaal?
Yeah,
it's actually a great movie.
It's great.
It's very good.
It really is great.
Apart from,
great.
Your man trying to, who's the
Conor McGregor.
MMA fighter? Conor McGregor.
Walking around butt naked.
Yeah,
he's brilliant.
Also, just being convicted of rape, by the way.
Yeah, he's not.
It's funny
the nicest
because
person in the world, and he's not a great actor.
Yeah, well, he doesn't claim to be an actor, and Roadhouse is a cheesy enough element that it can get away with being a bit shit because it's great because of it, because it leans into the ludicrousness, so it works.
But the crazy thing is, like, growing up now, when we were growing up, there's no such thing as being an influencer or a social media person. Whereas now it's like, oh, we're going to do TikTok or YouTube. It's like the chances of you being big is about the chances of you being a famous actor or a famous footballer. Like, it's so slim and remote that you're actually going to make any money from it is insane.
Yeah, it's so saturated.
1 in millions.
Yeah, we know. But I mean, imagine if they put Conor McGregor in Oppenheimer. You know, that wouldn't have worked. But Roadhouse kind of did work.
Things like Conor McGregor is worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
That's really good.
He'll just do stuff because he can, because he wants to.
I was looking today at top sci-fi films just of 2024. Have you seen
Has
many?
there been many?
Do you want me to give you? I've got 10 here. Do you want me to just reel them off quickly?
Yeah, just reel them off, dude.
Afraid with capital AI. That was good.
Oh, yeah.
Alien Romulus, we discussed. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That was good. June 2. Furiosa. Civil War.
Whoa,
I don't know about that, but kind of
Furiosa, is that science fiction?
Godzilla, apparently, is still sci-fi. Sting, the spider alien thing. Ghostbusters, technically. Madam Web was in that list. I'm not sure if that clarifies. But the
How's
best
that science
one,
fiction?
Do you remember the film that came out a few years ago, Cocaine Bear?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yes.
I really want to see it.
genuinely good.
Just for the crack.
It's
based
so
on true
funny.
story, by the way.
But there's a new animal on the list. Apparently
Cocaine
this year,
penguin.
I've never heard of it. It's called
Cocaine Penguin, please.
Attack of the Meth Gator.
Brilliant.
So there's a crocodile on
That's
meth.
got to be based in Florida.
You could make that shit up.
Is Godzilla and Madam Web, are they science fiction?
I wouldn't say so.
Are they more like just straight up like
I'd
fiction?
say the good ones this
I think
year.
Godzilla could be science fiction, yeah.
Well, kind of, yeah.
Because I've heard zombie films are science fiction, right? That's what I've heard.
Right, Ben, you might disagree. My definition of science fiction is fiction that is plausible. Like, it is down to science. Hence the whole, like, robot movement and stuff.
Nailed it.
Like,
this is my favourite clip.
Like, Godzilla. Like, Godzilla's not going to happen. That's just a fictional movie, isn't it? Like, Madam Web is a superhero movie.
Yeah, but sci-fi, it's saying pollution landed in the atomic bomb landed in it. It morphed. What they call an iguana into a massive
that's like a blatant
Godzilla.
lie, isn't it? Like,
that's
science
sci-fi.
fiction for me is iRobot. It's
but it's not a lie.
Things that could happen.
There is biological science.
I think the word science means it could happen.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Star Wars isn't going to happen. We're not going to go to light speed.
It could do. Why wouldn't it happen?
No one's going to say the word light speed and you're going to go bang.
That we could live on.
It sounds like what you're describing is what I would call hard science fiction. So hard science fiction would be it has to be based in some sort of reality.
When you go hard.
I think James is confusing. James is confusing science fiction with documentaries.
No,
with science reality.
Science fiction to me is it could happen. It could happen.
You're talking
There's
about
no reason why in 30 years there's not a Death
James.
Star,
You're talking about science potential, not science fiction.
So wait, James, could I enter your dreams and turn them into a world and make you do things?
But like Godzilla's never going to happen. That's like a horror movie, whatever it is. Madam
Would
Web's
you
never
would you
going to
call
happen.
Alien because
But Darth Vader is.
if Alien was outside of the space setting, would you call that science fiction or would you call it horror?
If it was out of the space session, if it was in like the world,
So
That'd be
you've got
horrible.
Alien Earth
Like
coming out
Predator,
as a
yeah.
TV
because aliens
series.
could exist.
Yeah, but would you feel
Yeah, but
that was
aliens
more
could
science
exist, we don't
fiction
know.
or fantasy?
I would say aliens could exist and probably do.
So that would be more fiction
So,
rather than science
Predator's
fiction.
a horror and not sci-fi.
Predator is not a science fiction film; it's a horror film.
But I've heard, can we
This is
just
good.
quickly look up that zombies, right? Zombie films is supposedly sci-fi as well.
No,
Yeah. Yeah, if you look it
I'm
up.
loving James's stance on this.
Yeah.
It's controversial.
Look, I bet you Kevin's looking it up right now, and I bet you it.
Zombies
Zombie
are generally
films.
considered to be fictional.
Sci-fi.
Okay, and
Boom.
consider supernatural in some contexts.
boom.
Well, wait, hang on. So
Actually,
Back to the Future is
sci-fi.
it's science fiction.
Oh, no. Oh, it does cross over into other genres such as action, comedy, science fiction, thriller, and romance. You know,
You got-
all
Okay,
those
so you call
romantic
like
things.
Walking Dead romance, would you? There we go.
There is
So-
some romantic elements.
motherfuckers.
According to Google,
They
science
love
fiction
feasting on people's brains.
is fiction based on imagined future scientific or technological advances and major social or environmental changes, frequently portraying space or time travel and life on other planets.
Yeah, Godzilla's not going to become something because it doesn't exist.
I think
Neither are
90% of
zombies.
90% of
Do you think
sci-fi doesn't
Godzilla
exist.
is Godzilla more realistic than King Kong?
No. You maniac. Neither
lizard,
of them
a big
exist,
monkey.
and they
What's more
never
realistic?
ever will exist.
So one is like, Honey, I Blew Up the Monkey, and the other one's Honey, I Blew Up a Lizard, or whatever.
Yeah, neither will exist ever.
I'd watch that film.
Actually, Honey, I Blew Up the Kids. That's science fiction. Honey, I Blew Up the Kids.
Yeah, it
That
is.
was fucking brilliant.
100%. I'll tell you what, on that vein, I did Google before you came on, like, greatest sci-fis. I just scrolled through dozens and dozens and, like, wrote down one every now and again that was decent. Can everyone remember Flight of the Navigator?
Yep,
Oh.
great movie.
Drew!
Wait, what?
Fly the Navigator! The little boy that sees the alien spacecraft gets taken away, gets dropped back, and, like, what, a day goes past and they called the police, couldn't find him, but he's gone for like years or something with the little spacecraft, little aliens in it. Like he has a good
The
time.
classic sort of
I need to watch
silver
that.
throne that he sits on.
I thought Flight of the Navigator was when that guy gets shrunk and he goes inside Dennis Quaid.
Nope, that's Body Snatchers, not Body Snatchers. Invasion of the Body something.
No,
Invasion of the
no.
Body
He
Snatchers.
shrunk and he goes
Oh,
he
no,
goes
that's,
inside through his like ear or something. And he gets,
Oh, you mean
That's funny,
isn't that like Fantastic Adventure or something?
it was a crazy film when I was a kid. I think Dennis Quaid is the space guy and he gets shrunk and he goes inside a man.
Is that the one where he goes to defuse the bomb that's inside the president?
It's Inner Space.
Oh, different
Is
film.
that what it is?
Yeah, where he goes in the body. A test pilot is miniaturized in a secret experiment and accidentally injected into a hapless store clerk.
Yeah. That
Not a
was a
president.
movie. That was a movie and a half, man.
I mean, if we're going for best ones this year, it's definitely The Substance.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that, but apparently it is proper body horror.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is lots of naked and lots of blood and lots of creatures and weirdness, and it gets grimmer and grimmer, but also kind of comically horror-y.
Black Swan as well was sci-fi, wasn't it?
Isn't that about dancing?
Is it?
Yeah. That's brilliant.
Pretty
It was, it's
certain
ballet.
that's not sci-fi.
Yeah, it's
lesbian,
about ballet.
lesbian ballets.
Black
Yeah,
Swan's
It's about ballet. But
Ballet.
she starts... Mate, it's so... Have you seen Black Swan, though? Have you seen it?
I
It's
haven't,
really
no.
good, man.
yeah.
With Natalie Portman, and she starts to become like the ugly duckling in this. It's really clever.
It's very good. But like even good like classics like 12 Monkeys, like that is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You into that, Ben? Have you seen that one?
I have seen it. Yeah.
That's if you get people's
Yeah.
names wrong. You go Ben.
No, 12 Monkeys
That
was
is-
good.
that
It
is
was
a belter.
another film that I mentioned earlier that is an early memory of sci-fi, which is Fantastic Voyage, where the president has a bomb put inside them, and this group of scientists has to get inside a little, like a miniaturized submarine that can travel
Tic-tac.
through the body to go and disarm this bomb. It's been parodied in Futurama and
God.
various other bits and pieces.
Mate, that's 1966. That is like Jason the Argonaut style movie.
Love
Speaking of
Jason
which,
and the
Jason and the
Argonauts.
Argonauts is amazing. Love Jim Henson.
Yeah. Is that the one
Yes,
with the
it
funky
is.
skeletons, right? Where like
Yeah.
even then the CGI
that's-
was so good.
Oh, it's not Jim Henson.
That's the poster for that film.
That looks like Emmanuel in space.
It's Emmanuel in space.
Emmanuel on the sofa in space.
That's mad. That's the Fantastic Voyage. Is this why you enjoyed it?
No. I would have been like
It's just
4
like
or 5 when I watched it.
But it's quite inappropriate with a lady like naked. It says the voyage. There's something the Fantastic Voyage.
every picture I'm looking at is that type of photo.
Have you turned Safe Search off on Google again?
I think so. But
The
it looks
Fantastic
mental.
Voyage.
Wank bank is on my overload.
Space.
It just looks mad. I'm sure I've seen that. It looks familiar, but it just looks a bit mad. But yeah, like the level of old school, like even like 80s stuff, like Short Circuit.
Oh, Short Circuit is
Like,
brilliant.
Johnny Five, I'm alive.
Oh, Short Circuit was awesome, man.
Newton Crosby.
Wait, what's that? What's that one with It's Hugh Jackman and the robot, and he's like,
Hugh Jackman.
yeah, huge
Oh, the
Jackman.
boxing film.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
but with the
boxing one.
robots.
Yeah, it's a stupid film.
Is it
Never
Fist
watched
Steel,
Johnny Five,
Fist
is it?
or
It's
It's not a
Fist of
stupid film. It's
Steel?
amazing.
No, it's a stupid film.
It's called Fist
Mate,
of Steel. It's not
It's
good.
fucking brilliant, man.
No,
I love that.
Johnny
I love
Five
that
is
film,
alive. It's
and I
amazing.
think Hugh Jackman loved that film.
I
Yeah.
don't know if he did.
I think he looked like he was having a good
Johnny
time.
Five's like, I would not be beaten.
King
beats the shit
Kong
out of people.
ain't got shit on me. King Kong ain't got shit on me.
I can't even find it. What bloody film was that you're on about? How old is it? Is it definitely Hugh Jackman? You sure it's Hugh Jackman?
Yeah, it is huge Jackman.
Oh God, Hugh Jackman was in Swordfish. Forgot
Yeah,
about
I
that.
told you about that.
Real Steel.
He has fellatio or something in Swordfish.
Real Steel.
Wait, is he
That's
playing
what
the
it is.
hacker in Swordfish in that scene?
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Wow.
and there's that weird, crazy scene where the lady goes down on him and he's having to disarm a bomb or something.
He's
It's a
well, he's
really strange
attacking
thing.
to, I think it's the Pentagon
yes.
or something like that, because the
Yeah,
big
Johnny-
evil guy puts a laptop
Yeah.
in front of him and goes,
yeah. And then John Travolta says to the girl to do something to Hugh Jackman's character to put him under pressure, and then he has to try and.
I did
Yeah.
not realise that was Hugh Jackman.
I remember buying that on DVD, and it was like luminous green, a luminous green DVD case. I thought it was cool.
Crazy things.
Smashing. Well, got another few minutes before we get to cut off time. But is any other? Because like, there's loads of like films that I just thought were incredible. Like, you know, even we're going back to the childhood ones, like Back to the Future. How has no one mentioned that?
Yeah, I thought I said Back to the Future, but maybe none of us heard
did
each
you?
other
Oh,
talking over
you
each
did
other.
say you said time travel and stuff. I must have missed it if you said
No,
that.
I'm pretty sure I did say Back to the Future, but maybe. But yeah, that was amazing.
I'm sure you did. That's the thing, Ben. I
Might be
listened
lying,
back to
though.
this, and because you're focusing on loads of different things. Oh, Ben's got an emergency.
No. Oh.
Da-da-da-da.
That's
Mate.
nice.
Da, 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 da.
One of
Show us
my-
something else. You got anything else funky up there?
things
Do you
that I
have the
like
church?
to collect is.
Do you have the
sci-fi
church
gear.
tower with the?
I don't know. It's on a shelf with a Lego TIE fighter, the ship from Firefly, the ship from Planet Express, not Planet. Yeah, it is Planet Express from Futurama, Thunderbird 2, and
Love Thunderbirds.
the X-Men plane. I love sci-fi gear.
Thunderbirds.
The green one.
Yeah, Thunderbirds is sci-fi technically because
Yeah.
they're all puppets and the spaceships.
It's not sci-fi
You
because
mentioned
they're
a bit
puppets.
Fair enough. Yeah.
All puppets
One day
are
the puppets
sci-fi.
will
They're not
rise.
real. They can't hurt you.
Virgil, it's so hot down here. Dun 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 dun. Like, it's crazy
Jerry
stuff.
Anderson
James
did
pointed
some
out-
amazing sci-fi. But yeah.
Who?
Jerry Anderson, creator.
Is that the
of,
Thunderbird people?
Jimmy
Thunderbirds.
Anderson, the
Yeah.
guy to Thunderbird, you
Yeah. Mate, but
Captain
I watched
Scarlet.
that for my 40th birthday. We had cake, alcohol, and we watched Thunderbirds, and it was one of the best birthdays I've ever had. It was so nostalgic and fun, and I couldn't believe the quality. It was like released in was it 1960s, 1970s,
Yeah.
and the quality is still really good now. And it was just
There's
so
not a
funny
lot.
because it reminded me of Team America without the swearing and the sex. It was like, and you could see the wires. It's
The
really funny.
marionettes
It's great.
filmed in Super Marionation.
Yeah.
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 A lot of again my early introduction.
What was your
to sci-fi
favourite
was
Thunderbird?
through Jerry Anderson. Thunderbird 2's always been my favourite, just because it's
Yeah, because it has 4 in it as well, right?
yes with the different pods. But Space 1999, UFO. Oh, James is gone. Captain
Then
Scarlet,
thing.
etc., etc.
Yeah, and the Mysterons. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh my God, Thunderbirds is 1965 to
See?
1966. It only lasted 2 years.
Yeah, it's only like 3 series long or 4
But they were the
series
best
long.
2 years ever.
Yeah.
And it's based in the year 2065, so it's based 100 years in the future. So in 40 years, puppets will rule the earth, Drew. Wouldn't that be
There you go.
nice?
There you go. Puppets
Science
and AI.
fact.
That's the world we're going to go to.
I like I like the way Drew goes. What was it you just said? Like on my 40th birthday, I was drinking and watching Thunderbirds, and it was such high quality. It wasn't good quality in the 60s. It isn't now. What are you on
Well,
about?
maybe after a few cocktails, it's good.
Yeah,
It's great.
yeah, clearly.
4K.
Yeah, I think
Four cocktails. That's what it was.
Still one of the best sci-fi films
but yeah,
ever.
it was
It's
really-
gonna be Thunderbirds Are Go. The original
Yeah.
film that they did, not the remake, the one with F-Zero X
the one
in
in
it.
2004 of Bill Paxton looks
Not
You
terrible.
seriously have to treat yourself to watching Thunderbirds. It is brilliant.
There you go.
It
Your
is so much
homework.
fun.
Probably not.
So it's the when
Yeah,
did that
it's a
film
great bit of
come
homework.
out? Hang on. I
Bum,
think it was
bum, bum,
66.
bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, there's one that came out in 2004.
It's not
When?
that one. Yeah, it's. I think it's from the night. I think it's 1966. It came out. Yeah, it's the one with F-Zero X in it. The multi-part spaceship that gets put together over a sequence of about 5 minutes. It's beautiful.
Yeah, James mentioned the other week where Thunderbirds got brought up randomly, and he was talking about Stingray, I think it was.
Yep.
Is like, how didn't anyone know that the Thunderbird was the bad guy? Because it's the only puppet that's ever had a stubble of anyone. So it's the only one that looked like a bad guy. How could they not work out who the bad guy was?
With a monobrow as well, because you could always tell they were evil because they had a monobrow.
the hood.
Which isn't good for people with monobrows. They
Stingray
need
was
tweezers. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you for joining us. I don't know if James is I don't know how many names I've got. I don't know if James is coming back, but we should probably leave before he comes back, because otherwise he might say something mental.
Well, thanks for
So,
having
yeah,
me, guys.
no,
It's
thank
been
Probably
you
good.
saying
very
mental things in his absence.
Yeah, we'll have to get you on again as well in the future and stuff like that. Especially if we have like how often do you go to the cinema?
Not as often as I'd like, but I do spend a lot of time rewatching things on TV.
Yeah. Well, let me know if you go to the cinema anytime, because it's likely that I'll be seeing a similar film. And what we're going to be doing every now and again, Drew's going to join very soon when his cinema works again. His
Can't wait
shut
when it's no
down.
longer a building site.
He's got a building site around it.
Well, I'm going tomorrow.
Going to do little spoiler special episodes, little half-an-hour ones, just speaking about that one film only type thing.
Sounds good.
So if you watch anything, let me know. We'll do a little spoiler. But anyway, thank you very much, and well done for winning Taskmaster. I just knew you would. I just fucking knew you would.
Well earned, dude.
Have a good one, guys.
He's not going to watch this.
He'll know.
Right, Ben, don't go anywhere. I'll press stop, but don't go anywhere. All right. See you later. Love you.
This has been Rage Whale. Thanks for hanging out with us. We hope you had a whale of a time.